They first pick him because, there's like orders and stuff. But this is my favorite support in the entire patch right now. I think he has insane synergy with all like the really good initiating cores. His scale is crazy goddamn good. And all of his spells are super impactful in the fight. They're all really annoying. They're all really low cooldown. His shard is great. He's a pseudo save. He's BKB pseudo lockdown. He deals with Pangolier because you're a fake ass hero.
30 seconds.
I expect Save to pop off, especially after he got relegated to Centaur last game. They probably tried to put him on it again. He was like, screw that. I'm playing a real hero. You take that ship here. I'm going to pop off. I expect great things from Save this game. I expect this Grimstroke to shine because he has great cores to go in and do it up for him. And very strong lanes coming from BetBoom. I expect the Huskar to do well. I expect the Wind Ranger to do okay. I don't know how this Dazzle Wind Ranger lane actually is in the side lane.
Yeah, it seems a little weird. They're going to go for it underneath the tower. Tofu managed to bait them in a little bit, hits him with the double avalanche. A lot of damage returned back, and Pure keeps going that direction. He will be cut down very easily, and Toronto Tokyo might join him as well. Ace and Tofu chased a little bit there, met with some resistance from Save and Nightfall, though. Either way, the damage is done. The first blood is taken over to Gaimin Gladiators.
One might say that he got grimly struck.
No.
All right, let's see how well Quinn can do on the other side.
Kenzo, if you're listening, you can go ahead and come into the studio and replace Avery. That would be
he can do on the other side of this Huskar matchup. I'm surprised we did not see Huskar TI. That was actually one of the really surprising stats there for me, because I do not think this hero was that bad there. I mean, the factor is, he's kind of like a lane-based hero, and sometimes those heroes at TI are spooky to pick.
Sure.
Like, it feels cheesy or all in, even if it isn't necessarily.
Like Gaimin Gladiators made a very long run through TI.
But Quinn didn't play it either, right? So, like,
yeah.
I don't know. But I think this hero is very strong. So maybe now that we're not at TI, there's not some, like, oh, big ages up for grabs, Now you can just relax.
Yeah, it's just $1 million.
Right. And you can,
small prize pool in the Dota2 world.
So I think BetBoom are going to be really happy in these lanes. I think the one lane that should do very well for them over time is this pure Centaur lane. But you got First Blooded again. It just kind of sucks. Push you back a little bit in terms of gold. But I believe in my boy Grimstroke. And they'll pull through.
I will say that was one of my favorite changes they made to any hero. It's such a simple thing, but just being able to give you a little bit more control over Inkswell and how it's used. Yeah, they did the same thing to Techies as well. The reactive taser, now you can activate it, blow up whenever you want.
Yeah, but the hero's just bad. So, I mean, you can shine a trash can.
Maybe
it's
you're
still
right.
A trash can.
Maybe they need to buff Techies some more. That sounds like a great idea, Avery.
No, that's okay.
Thank you.
We can leave them there.
Weird little thing, GPK not opting for the, what's his Q called?
Inner Fire.
Yeah, he didn't opt for the Inner Fire.
You lack all sources of Inner Fire. This is a little weird. Usually you take a value point for laning, but...
Yeah, especially against Pango, because you can knock him down mid-shield crash.
To be fair, though, like, the skill points on this hero are kind of irrelevant. If you get that in a position where you can sit in front of the wave and orb right-click him, you're going to win any lane, right?
Do you think Quinn would say that it's irrelevant?
No.
Because watching that mid matchup, he was definitely not dominating the matchup the way he should.
I mean, part of Quinn's skill set is he is perhaps the best mid laner in Dota in the world right now. And he trained a very long time to get there. There's that Grim coming into play. As Celery gets stroked in the top lane. Just goes down. Over to you, Austin.
Stop.
All right, that was the last one, I promise.
Ooh, Ace is going to die, but they do manage to get the kill first. But all importantly, the Lotus is up for grabs, and Tofu managed to snatch it away from Nightfall.
Nice Lotus.
By using the toss.
Man, Pure is still suffering. He just can't get like a high enough HP pool to sit on the lane, and it is giving a decent amount of space over to Rachio. They got the cheeky kill on the Phoenix, but they're not pressuring the Terrorblade yet, at least. But still doing all right, 19-2. Actually, the CS is looking fairly solid for BetBoom here. Net worths are all even, but they're doing pretty good on the board. And again, I think they're okay with just like smooth sailing through this laning phase. I don't think they have to crush the lanes here. They just have to get into the mid game where like this, Grimstroke Tuskar can start to take over the skirmishes versus a slower support duo in the Phoenix Tiny. I think that's the biggest change for game in this game compared to game one. Their support duo is a lot clunkier. You need ult on Phoenix. unless you have a crazy fast start on lane, which Celery's not going to have here. That's like their losing lane on the side of Gaming, or their slow lane. And I mean, Tiny's just a pretty clunky hero. I think he's still very powerful. If you get to the items, he's still one of the best supports in Dota. Just his way to get there has been shut down a bit. Toss isn't as gimmicky a spell in the early game with the cast range nerf, so kind of have to be a lot cheekier. And I don't think there's a mid gank in this game. I think that's one of the things that can salvage Tiny in the current meta is if you can just go behind the guy mid and toss him in and get that kill, suddenly you have an early game.
Oh, why can't you do that to Huskar? Especially with the Pango who can pull him back even further.
I mean,
right?
in theory, you can do it in certain matchups, but I think in this Huskar versus Melee matchup, it doesn't always exist because in theory, the other guy, he's getting his regen burned constantly, and he has to use spells for creeps. So the harass against the Huskar isn't that high.
Nice shackle shot. Latching down the two of them. This is always a dangerous combination. Anytime you have tag team plus some decent attack speed. It's going to be a potent combo once you see Nightfall get his level 6, but for now, it's not enough to get the kill on Ace.
Honestly, I feel like Gaimin are doing pretty well in this laning phase. Better than I expected. They're just taking it to BetBoom on a lot of these lanes. And
Huskar only has 19 denies. They're going to turn back around. Pure. It's going to be a lot of magic damage dealt back to the Terrorblade. Not enough to kill him, but they will lead. Oh, they does actually get it with the beautiful stroke from Save.
Say it. Say. All right, you don't have to say it, but we're all thinking it. I honestly think that outcome is maybe better. That's how much I believe in Grimstroke. I think if you give Grimstroke a good early game, this hero just takes over games. He takes over team fights.
I mean, Terrorblade is one of the better Aghanims heroes for Grimstroke, right? To get illusion of TD.
That's what I'm saying. That's the annoying part. This hero's really good with spellcasters. He's really good against spellcasters or mobility heroes, and he's good against the agi carry. So he has a lot of routes to be useful, which I think, in general, if a support has a lot of good routes to usefulness and his laning phase is acceptable, which it definitely is, the hero's almost never bad. And eventually those heroes rise to the top. I think the hero that it reminds me the most of was the patch where support Snapfire just became like first pick. Now that hero had some flex too, right?
Yep.
But it was mostly because the lane phase was solid, and then there's like no game in which it was bad. It just worked with everything.
Trying to get the toss back,
ambitious.
but one of the advantages of this matchup, Windranger has Windrun against the Dazzle, always able to make sure that you can't maintain that poison touch you're looking for.
That's annoying. And BetBoom are going to try and make this mirrored move on the other side of the map, but they have a lot more spell damage to throw into the defenseless Terrorblade here.
Who is still silenced, but the Ghost ends up dying, and Celery running interception, beautifully covering both Toronto, Tokyo, and Save in the slows. The damage over time is going to burn out both of them with the Sunray. Yeah, he's got him.
Wow, what a disaster.
Yeah, that felt like it was guaranteed. Should have been.
Oh, this point and retaliate, not having the second point hook stop. I'm not going to say it cost him that, but it's definitely not a miss skill or anything.
Is it not a miss skill? I feel like all the Centaurs I watch nowadays do not go retaliate.
Yeah, that's why. Okay. Well,
Pure gets it in the end somehow.
He went too.
He's going for the kill on Celery.
Nah, he just wants to die.
Okay. I mean, it would have been sick if he got the double edge there and somehow got that kill, died to the tower.
What is going on here?
Quinn's just getting stuck.
All right.
Stuck in the mire and the muck in the river.
Quinn continuing to find weird things happen to him.
He is not that far behind the rest of the cores in net worth. Obviously, his 1-to-1 matchup is pretty rough, but...
I mean, his net worth looks fine. I don't really know how, because he's 30 CS behind and
frankly,
30
GPK
denies
dies
behind.
here to look a whole lot better. The Avalanche, though, they got to chase him down. They do.
What a sick rotation on Dyrachio.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
What the hell is this rotation on? If I'm GPK, I'm like, what? Guys, what the hell is this? Why is there a Terrorblade meta in my lane?
I think that's one of the special things about Dyrachio as a carry.
You know what that move was?
How active he is with hard carries. Yeah, what is it?
We're going to see Quinn maybe go down here. Uphill misses. Is it actually going to save him?
No. Stampede runs him over. They're going to get a return kill out of it, though, maybe, with the toss back on a Save. Save just doing what damage he can before he falls, allowing GPK to have a chance to pick something else in return, but he has no level of his ultimate.
He's just playing for the farm. That was a big rotation from Dyrachio. That move, I've seen that move before. You know where I've seen that move before?
Where? he's thinking.
Manila. It was also a Southeast Asian tournament. Manila Major.
Okay.
Team OG. No tail, carry Terrorblade. Rotated into mid and ganked mid at like level 4 or 5.
That's
I remember that game.
Deep knowledge right there.
Yeah, and nobody can counteract that because none of you are all going to go look that
nobody
up.
possibly remembers that, so you could just throw crap like
No, I
that
remember
out.
watching that replay with Arteezy on EG at the time. And Arteezy was like, why the hell did he make this move? I remember that discussion. I don't remember what the conclusion was.
Well, it
That's
works for him, and it is still working, so apparently there's something to that move. GPK is not going to be able to deal with all of these various damage sources. Eventually he's going to take out here. BetBoom do have some heroes in a position looking to punish.
That's a second death for Huskar. And this is, maybe this is part of also like the team understanding of a hero, because again, when we saw the Huskar last game, BetBoom didn't collapse on it. The weakness of this hero is if you gank him, you give him some early deaths, suddenly he's not as scary. Because he's going to dominate the CS, but he is pretty susceptible to just getting killed early on, and then he's not doing like massive ancient acceleration. So Gaimin, that's why that Terrorblade gank was impressive, because I think it demonstrates the understanding Gaimin have versus what they're up against in this game and making cheeky moves that pay off big time, because it puts Quinn back in a position. We're talking about the CS battle. He's ahead of net worth on this Huskar. This Huskar is 65 and 30 to Quinn's 35. Like, this is a dominant CS performance from GBK. On paper, he decimated this mid lane and put Quinn in the dumpster. But what does it mean when you get ganked? It means nothing. This is why mid players hate ganks, because they're filthy and they're unfair. And I think we should separate mid lane from the rest of Dota, and we should just let them 1v1 for 10 minutes, and then they can join the rest of the team. And that would be more honor, you know?
Who the hell are you? When did you become the advocate for mid players?
Since big mid lane started sponsoring me.
Oh. How much they paying you, right? You can take a cut
I
there.
don't discuss contracts on stream, Austin, you know that.
If anybody from the support lobby...
There's no support lobby, dumbass. You think there's a support lobby? It took 8 years to get cheaper salves. That's your support lobby.
Toronto Tokyo getting a punch in before he is still going to be in some trouble. They have the Inkswell, but Tofu's going to cover him pretty nicely. No escape. 7-10, Gaimin Gladiators up by just a K.
What do you about Carry Win Ranger? Because I know you're a Dota player.
I do occasionally play some Dota 2.
I've seen you out there. Now you play with Merlini. Merlini's a
We
big.
both play with Merlini, yeah.
Okay. Merlini's a big Carry Win Ranger player.
Yeah, yeah.
So you must have some strong opinions on it now that you've lost like 800 MMR to it.
Ace. He's going to get a push. No.
Nice combo.
Punch straight to the face. And they have actually some chain stuns they can be using onto Zeracho here with Pure coming in through the side. Has to use a stun onto Tofu, which means Zeracho is still alive, looking for a Sunder opportunity. He's going to push back some of these heroes, and they are too scared to keep it going on the side of BetBoom. A reset, especially with Quinn coming in hot with this haste rune. He'll run down and save. Got something out of it, at least.
They found Toronto Tokyo. It'll be a 2 for Quinn here. I'm sure he will do his best to chaos this. There you go. Nice little haste rotation for him. Again, catching up in this game off the rough Huskar lane. And another rotation from Duracho that would have been terrible if he goes down there, because he just rushed Midas. But this is a Midas Terrorblade ganking both of the other lanes by, you know, the 11-12 minimum. That is kind of crazy. And he's top network. And goddamn, Duracho is playing some Dota today, I'll tell you that much.
He really is.
Like, this is a very impressive early game flow from a hero that we felt like was in a tough lane, is arguably their slower core, and not really known for making rotations with a Midas, right?
Yeah.
But he's just doing it all here. Won his lane, his tower's still up, he's highest net worth, he's making the rotations with greedy items and a Midas. It's not like some Yasha that helps you do it. I mean, Reddit's in absolute shambles right now.
Yeah, but Quinn still lost mid, so there's something to hold on for the Reddit community. Nightfall trying to outrun the Avalanche there. Quinn actually not popping the ultimate there. I guess he maybe saw the Tusk and figured, okay, he's just going to shard I'm not going to be able to chain this very well.
Tumbler action.
You're really trying for this one. He does have save right behind him. With the Inkswell and the Silence, they can bring down Duraccio solo. That's the downside of being so aggressive and willing to just play.
Yep, it is.
Aggressively on the enemy side of the map constantly, the way he does, you will occasionally be dying like that.
I always prefer the aggressive carries, but, you know, yeah, they're double-edged swords as he gets double-edged down. And now we're seeing this Grimstral combination start to have the damage to get the burst through, which is what you want with this hero. Because once that starts to happen, you just pick up the pace on the map. It gets spookier and spookier.
Okay, so I gotta keep it real. You asked me about the Merlini Wind Ranger.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Yeah. I know Ben is a beloved name in the scene.
Well.
And he's one of my closest friends in Dota. Preface all this to say, if anybody is doing something that Ben is doing,
This is very
I
aggressive,
think it's
right?
terrible.
Just while we're watching this
Yeah, it's not great.
space-making move. So you're saying if Ben does it, it's terrible?
Yeah, if you play Queen of Pain and you don't level up your Q,
Well, that one's
literally
very
go
debatable.
stats over it. If you're playing Carry Wind Ranger, I think like inherently you have some wrong ideas about Dota.
The carry Wind Ranger's fine. This hero is a carry. Will carry late game scenarios. It's very good versus Terrorblade.
It can work, and I think it does work against Terrorblade specifically. But I think most of the time it's a bad idea, because usually
Dota
Ben's
2.
just trying some weird shit, you know?
But that's Dota2, right? You pick the tools that perform best in those situations. You're not going to bring a shovel to a knife fight. It just doesn't make
Why
any
not?
sense.
You have the range against the knife.
That was a bad example. I mean, but you understand my point. If
Actually,
it works,
like,
it works.
Instead of a knife, he could be playing sniper right now and arrange the
Well,
Terrorblade.
now you're speaking my language. Sniper. There's a man's hero. Just a man with a gun. Sometimes that's all you need. I also like that he went the Maelstrom while we're on this Wind Ranger topic. I think this hero needs the early Javelin, gives you some extra kill potential into the Maelstrom. I think it's just the best, man. I hate these like Atos.
Yeah, you see the Diffusal Blade build.
Hurricane Pike Rush. I don't believe in this shit, man. Get the Maelstrom, threaten people with a level 1 ult. It does some serious goddamn work. Look, he's killing Duraccio right now. He's just dead. What are you going to do, son?
Yeah, he Sunders, and he's still going to be in some trouble, though Nightfall's win run is running out, so.
I mean, whatever, he had Sunder, right? I mean,
who could have seen that come?
Yeah, he got bailed out by God, but this is the threat you're creating. Like, you forced a meta. You forced a Sunder out. You go back to farming. That's what the Maelstrom could do.
Okay, I 100% agree, but it's largely because it's TB, right? Magic damage is the answer to this hero because he has 1 million armor.
But I still love Maelstrom on this hero because I think the early Javelin just propels you, and I think Nightfall is going to scale pretty well in this game. I think BetBoom are feeling very comfortable right now. If they get like a couple of good kills or fights out of this Aegis that they picked up on the Huskar, maybe a tier 2, 4 or 5k Goldie, I think they're going to be exactly where they want to be in this game. So it kind of shifts the onus back to Gaimin for maybe the first time in the series of like, can you make moves with your lineup that is perhaps a bit slower right now, right? Because this Centaur Tusk Grim combination is the deadliest combination on the map. The Phoenix Tiny plus whatever is not matching it. So you're kind of in dodge mode. And whenever you're in dodge mode, it's, I mean, generally you can't just say, okay, everybody just go farm and I'll see you in 5 minutes. Like, you have to play it well. You have to push the lane smartly, decide who's going to show where. If the enemy gets wards out, it makes your life harder. BetBoom invading the triangle here, hoping to do exactly that. Get deep wards out, find the Terrorblade. Duraccio will not get caught. It might be the counter smoke. Blink up on Tofu. He's going to toss him in.
Okay, there goes his Aegis. Beautiful stop, though, on the 3 from here with a snowball over the 3 as well. That's a beautiful stop with a double edge onto these 2 heroes, but they got off the Supernova. They realized their CC was going to be running out. GTK doesn't think he had attack speed to be able to finish off the egg either. They couldn't get a kill. Oh, what? Duraccio shot down by Nightfall right through the heart. And they're too late on the side of Gaimin Gladiators to save him, but they can't get some revenge. Still battling it out. Quinn biding his time, waiting for an opportunity to go back onto Nightfall. Forced out a win run. Meanwhile, the snowball is going to put him in an awkward position. Tofu tries to go for the kill on Nightfall. Not quite enough damage, but Nightfall is in deep. He's got to find a way to juke his way out of here because he doesn't have a TP yet.
He looks fine.
Fortunately, he's got a ward on the high ground. It'll give him
good
information to dodge. Uh-oh.
He's absolutely
he is not fine at all.
Oh, he's fine.
Bound by Tofu. TP coming in. He's dead.
Nice, he's chilling.
Avery doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Chilling in the fountain, you know what I'm saying? What a crazy fight. How did that Dude, I can't believe he got a 3-man Hoof Stomp into 3-man Inkswell into a double edge.
Double edge, and none of it was
like
enough.
A double bug, and nobody died.
Yeah.
And then the egg reset the Phoenix's HP. And like the other heroes are getting healed up by Dazzle, right? This is just the dream.
I mean, they have no damage dealers. No Huskar.
Well,
the Wind Ranger's not there yet.
Yeah, the Huskar died to the tiny combo, and he's stuck respawning. But meanwhile, Maelstrom Wind Ranger solo kills Dyrachyo. 8 Toast would not be doing that, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the future here as Nightfall shows you why every little bit of your build matters, gets the work done. Remember, now that kill was also possible because he forced out some of Dyrachyo's spells earlier on with the previous Wind Ranger ulti. That's not even accurate, but it helps frame my point.
Yeah, he did have Sunder off cooldown. That is an entirely wrong point to make, but
I still like
good
that
try.
impact coming in. And the Maelstrom procs even later on. It's like some decent damage out of this Wind Ranger you might not expect. So I kind of like that.
I like how, like, what a big point you're making out of the fact that your carry shouldn't go a utility item like Rod of Atos. Like, that's ultimately the point you're making right now, is that carry should do damage.
Because I watched it for like a year and a half.
Yeah, but that wasn't carry Wind Ranger.
Let me tell you something. If Wind Ranger's in the game, you're a carry. If you're picking Wind Ranger for the stun utility, I mean, you can do that on support. But then, like,
that's not bad.
but then you should pick the better Shackler in the Shadow Shaman that can more reliably disable
of course,
people.
the Shadow Shaman huge right
I mean,
now.
you know what they say, all roads lead to the Shaman.
The back rooms, Avery is preaching, proselytizing nonstop about the Shadow Shaman and his
I
return
think that
to the
hero's-
competitive scene.
I think that hero's pretty good right now.
He has bet that this will be the hero of the tournament.
That's an exaggeration, but I would not be surprised.
Kezu said it was a much more reasonable lone druid, but dream big, Avery. Dream big.
This is all Shaman players do. We all dream big.
You've got the same obsession that Reddit has with Lion right now.
No, that guy needs medical attention.
What, are you talking about Slacks? Because there's another person that we play a lot of Dota
I
with
actually understand.
who also goes a terrible hero
Yes, he also
build combination.
He needs therapy for sure. I've told him this. I think Lion players, like, that doesn't surprise me because I think Lion players are in that category where they've fallen. Like, they've fallen out of society.
Okay.
And they need a direction in life. You know what I'm saying? And Lion, there's that Maelstrom going to work again as we get another big kill streak.
Yeah, great analysis.
I mean, this skirmish power's heating up. Dyrachyo's going to try and turn
Dyrachyo
this.
sees an opportunity that you don't have the focus fire, so now he feels comfortable taking the fight, especially into the Huskar operating on low HP. The physical damage is a threat, and GPK has to reset, especially off that Supernova being used. But that's fine with BetBoom. They got the kill on Quinn.
Yeah,
they
got
don't
the
get
meta.
more.
It'll
So
be a
meta used, and
smoke.
nothing really for it.
And Gaimin are going to try and fight without the Pangolier.
Oh, they're still going to go for the... Wait. Nobody followed him in.
Oh, 2-man
Oh!
stun!
Pure, that's an opportunity to go for the back line instead of Dyrachyo. Did they get the kill? They do, just in time. No opportunity for a Shallow Grave, and now Dyrachyo's battling without his support. Got him on the Grimstroke ultimate there, just trying to slow him down. Kite him out as much as possible. Another opportunity to hit a stomp, and it inks well too much. Chain stuns. Back and forth, BetBoom go. Working Gaimin Gladiators in this fight. And Quinn, desperation, trying to make something happen out of this one, but can't really go back in. He's going for Pure instead, but Pure's pretty tanky. They have the inks well, and it's just pulls Celery out of position. They get another kill.
God damn, BetBoom putting on a back and forth clinic right here as they just step in and out of the fight beautifully. Kite out Gaimin. Again, the reason I started that entire sequence off with the smoke going, they're doing it without the Pangoliers because the Pango is your control and damage in the fight.
Yeah, yeah.
This support duo can set up the fight in terms of tossing someone back, giving you some stun and heal potential, but the Pango and Dazzle need to be alive for you to win those long engagements. They will get the pure pick off. That is almost 1,000 gold. That's a nice one. I mean, Tofu's been doing some work. His Tiny is fully online. That is the hope here for Gaimin as they're trying to go through these engagements. Like, if you get 4 or 5 Tiny combos off, you're probably winning that fight. Yeah. And the more utility this hero gets in terms of 4-staff Eagles, he becomes a menace. But we are seeing right now the beast and the real triumph is coming through on these hoof stomps into the Inkswell combination. There is no answer for that right now in Gaimin. There's no quick dispel. There's not defensive 4-staffs. You're just tanking it. And Pure is finding the openings with Save backing him up right now. Looking pretty good. He even went Kaya soft here on the Centaur.
GPK, pop of the BKB, seeing if he can kill Quinn. But Ace will give him the Shallow Grave as he heads back to the fountain. Survives rather easily thanks to that. But it does mean he's going to finish up his Aghanim Scepter. There's a Yules for Tofu. That's an interesting choice. What do you make of that one?
I mean, it helps versus the Inkswell, the Insta-Pop if you want to do it.
Yeah.
It's also just a solid Tiny item. Like, I think Blink 4-staff Yules on Tiny is never bad in any game. You can save yourself, you reset your spells, you go back in, right? It's very annoying. The Tiny blinks in combo somebody if you go on him, he Yuleses, comes back down, his spells are all half back up. You 4-staff out. It's just a classic Tiny.
The more attention he draws onto himself and the more time he buys allows Ace to be able to follow it up, right?
You're just trying to get to the next combo. It's also good versus Nightfall, if you ever catch a wind run. Good versus Stampede. There's a lot of reasons Yules is pretty nice here. You can maybe Yules the Tusk on like a Blink and Snowball save. I don't know how likely that is, but it is possible, right? If he gets caught in an Avalanche, for example.
Sure.
I think Tiny is a very good matchup. Like the support Tiny versus support Tusk has generally been very favored for Tiny historically, because Avalanche just destroys that hero. So I like it. It's just a good pickup here. And he'll probably look for the 4-staff next. I don't know if you're going to be greedy enough to go for like a pipe or something.
All right, Vision's going to be a problem for Gaimin Gladiators to be considering soon. Aghanim Scepter almost done for Nightfall. Which I feel like his motivation for all these fights is just get on top of the Terrorblade, focus fire him, force a reaction of some kind.
Kill Dyrachyo. There's not much Dyrachyo can do in a vacuum. Like Windrun, BKB, ulting, Wind Ranger. There is no counterplay for Terrorblade unless you just want to sit there with MKB and kill him back. So if you start the fight on that terms, it puts Gaimin in a weird position where they're going to have to grave the TB and look for the later Sunder, and that's going to create an opening for the Centaur. The Inkswell combinations going off at the same time, right? Ags is going to be really annoying here because you don't have great Dispel options versus the Wind Ranger. Like, what's your control? I mean, you can burn his mana. That's been the most annoying thing, honestly, is the Pango mana burn. But it's going to be down to Tofu to maybe catch Nightfall out with an Ava or Yules post BKB. And another Aegis should be going BetBoom's way here. It's going to be a tough contest, I think, unless you get like a really fast smoke and an angle here. But it looks too hard because if you're gaming, you're also just trying to split the map with the Terrorblade and you know, get to your next TB items.
So the panel talks about, hey, you know, Huskar, switch sides, shoes on the other foot, both the hero but also the tempo of the game, right? BetBoom, they want to be able to take this early control of the game. They haven't actually managed to do it through a net worth lead, but it does feel like they are in a decent position still in this game. Do you feel as confident for Gaimin Gladiators going late game with their anti-Huskar setup?
Tough to say, honestly. I think it's dependent on how much farm Sage gets. You can start getting some Dark Portraits in or Octarine Grims and stuff, it gets weird. I think the Wind Ranger is a spooky hero late game for gaming, but so is Dazzle for BetBoom, right? Like, Dazzle in any late game is just terrifying.
Yeah.
And we've seen Gain play really well around Ace's Dazzle. I think it's perhaps his best hero in the meta in a way, because it's a very dominant laner, and it's a utility hero, and that Ace can... It's like all these pipe and Zoo heroes went out of meta, but Dazzle kind of fills that role without being a liability that those heroes have right now, without getting nerfed and all of that. And at the same time, he's a damage scaler. So it's like the best of both worlds, right? You put Ace on a utility-based hero that can help you win the team fights with big, like, aura timings and heal, and at the same time, he's going to kill people late game. So I think it's, like, secretly one of their best heroes. I think it was why the Underlord also worked really well for them for a long time. Let's see. Yeah, there's your Yules in action.
Some return fire from Gaimin Gladiators. Ace flicking forward to ensure the kit on Toronto Tokyo is complete.
Yeah, there's that poke damage. Between the Pango and the Dazzle, it's another way Gaimin can play these fights. Let the Tiny set it up, toss someone in, just keep everybody split up. What's your counterplay to that if you're BetBoom? You kind of just have to commit the Wind Ranger, right?
There is a point where, I mean, their pickoffs like this are always nice. Nightfall.
Who's picking off who?
Gets the Supernova out of him. I mean, ultimately, that's like the Phoenix. It's not really that useful of a hero without that.
Who also went for the pipe himself. So Celery's finding a lot of farm in this game. Both the supports on Gaimin are finding a lot of farm, and it's a little concerning if you're BetBoom, because you're going back for the Midas on the Tuskar. Like, BetBoom understand they want their supports to find the extra items in this game. They're really good if they get to them. They're just not finding it on the same pace right now. And that might be what ends up hurting them in the super long fights. If you go for a single target initiation on the Terrorblade or something, it gets turned around by Gaimin, you get a big Sunder. then all of a sudden the next round of support spells, it might be in your favor.
So when I saw the Hand of Midas, I thought it was because he wanted to make sure he would scale up into an Aghanim Scepter. Right? So isn't an Aghanim Scepter really good here because you have the single target pickoff of Wind Ranger combined with, I mean, naturally, any sort of positioning stuff is going to work well against Dazzle.
Right? I mean, kick on Tusk is never bad, right? That's how I'll put it. But I think he needs the BKB to interact into the Tiny and into Pango roll. He wants to guarantee that he can snowball save.
Okay.
Toronto Tokyo feels like that is going to be more impactful than kicking someone out in the fight.
I mean, but if you're just like, if your idea is my saves, if you're just like clashing your saves against each other, like surely Gaimin Gladiators has the advantage there, right? It's way easier to play this Dazzle Phoenix saves.
Well, unless your Dazzle gets jumped.
Yeah, which would be the point of Aghanim Scepter.
Oh, that's Pure's job.
Okay. We'll see. It's all you know, all fun and games when you're out in the open field to battle, but when you're trying to siege a high ground, it becomes a whole lot different game. But a surprise initiation does work out very nicely. Picking off Quinn there. Yeah, maybe they could just go right past that tier 2 in the mid lane and hit the tier 3 at top instead.
Aggressive cheese eat here. Yeah, Ward just got placed and couldn't get dewarded in time, and they find the jump. Single target burst is insane between the tag team plus Nightfall going in.
Yeah.
So now we're on the reverse, right? It's a little misstep mistake by Gaimin, gives an opening to BetBoom, and suddenly they're the ones hitting your high ground with this Aegis Huskar.
Which is funny, they really wanted to make this happen. The Aegis was expiring in a minute. And they've got now that full 60 seconds to be hitting buildings and see if Gaimin Gladiators want to try and take a 2-life Huskar fight.
I don't think they're fighting this until the Pango's ready to respond. Though Tofu might go for some toss backs.
Yeah, might be able to take away that Aegis. They do, but they're going to get caught in the process. Immediately Tron through Tokyo looks for the jump in onto the Dazzle. They block out with the shards. Another stomp landing for Pure, beautiful stuff. And they'll clean up the Dazzle while trying to back away. Now they have to get away from this Supernova. Celery doing a great job of positioning this.
Gotta be careful of this Pango respawn getting chased down. This Scotty.
Oh, down a little bit. Tofu wants to hop out there, but afraid of a rebuttal there from BetBoom. And after all, you don't want to stretch yourself too much out here.
No, Gaimin need the gem. This Invis Wind Ranger is giving way too much vision, and it's creating a invisible front line, basically, that gives the vision for the jump. It's making it hard for Tofu to go in, because he knows Nightfall's just lurking here. You really need the gem pickup right now so you can play around the vision that Nightfall's creating. It's the strength of this Ags.
Well, Gaimin Gladiators, they still hold a net worth lead, and they did manage to survive through that second Aegis timing without losing Elena Barracks. They just lost a tier 3.
And that got them to Durachio's items, which is the Scotty plus the MKB on the Terrorblade. So now he can shred this Wind Ranger, he can shred the Huskar in the fight if the stuns connect. And the best case scenario for Gaimin that we really haven't seen the whole game is when everything connects, you're getting that stun, toss back a core into the egg. And all of a sudden that's a fight that's hard for BetBoom to just commit into.
Yeah.
Because the Terrorblade's going to be hitting you, the Pango's going to be rolling through. You're not going to be able to kill the egg when all of it's going off, right? That's the team fight that Gaimin are looking for. And if they get that team fight into the next Aegis here, for example, that's going to be a tough team fight for BetBoom to take. Right now they still have map control, and they want to keep translating that into pickoffs because the pickoff game is very favorable for them. That is not a close, I mean, Gaimin haven't picked anything really all. It's just been team fights. But the pickoff between the Wind Ranger Centaur setup, very straightforward.
Great find if you can get it. Stampede trying to run down. Ace goes for a TP, but he is found around the corner.
Quick pickoff here. Nightfall will reset his cooldowns.
Radiant are scanning.
Picking up the damage, man. Daedalus completed. This Wind Ranger, he is basically kitted. I mean, this is when Wind Ranger's like hitting her peak, right? The last item can be anything. Mobility, more damage, tank ability, Lincolns, blink, whatever. But I mean, this is where you're like hitting your prime outside of that level 25 talent. So these next fights are when BetBoom, they want to ramp it up into that Aegis and then end the game.
What's the 25 talent the most take? I forgot what they were.
Undispellable or the advance.
Right, depending if they have a dispel or not.
So both of them can be very strong in the right game. I think generally players prefer to take the advance, especially on carry Wind Ranger. See what Nightfall opts for.
And in this situation, there's no dispel he has to worry about yet.
Yeah, outside of the Yules.
Oh yeah, that's right, the Yules. But he's got BKB.
Exactly. And it's also like if you're going to go Lincolns, right? Like let's say Nightfall wants to make his last items Lincolns in this game, which is what he's considering, then you'd probably rather take the aggressive talent. mean, that talent's just so nice. If you get 2 or 3 ults off in a fight, you're winning the fight. And that's what you're designed to do at this point.
Yeah.
He is in a very happy place right now. Outside of that MKB lurking on Dyrachyo.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It's all about next Roshan.
Yep, which is going to be a Dire side Roshan with 30 seconds left on the clock for its spawning. So, meanwhile, GPK completing an AC pretty quickly, especially off that gold from the tier 2 tower.
So what I was saying about Lion players basically is that these guys are they're degenerates of a special class because they're addicts. Now everybody who plays Dota is an addict.
You're right, of course.
Right.
So what
but
makes that
like,
them
they're
special?
Omega addicts because
That's,
every game they play, they're just looking for the next finger. That's all that matters to them. They're not playing Dota. They're not thinking about moves or rotations. It's just they're just staring at their ultimate cooldown, waiting.
Well,
waiting.
Nowadays,
then
they're
you need
looking
to
for
smoke.
the suck.
You need to smoke for a fight. You need to smoke for an ult. You need to play it safe so you can get that big finger kill, you know? That's an addictive mindset. And it's a deadly spiral. You just spiral down. And then one day, you're making ridiculous threads and ridiculous arguments that make no sense. You wonder how you got there. One finger at a time.
So you believe that these lion addicts, or these finger addicts, more specifically,
Well, I prefer to, yeah. Okay.
have gone clinically insane and started obsessing about a different ability that isn't finger.
Yeah, it's classic deflection from the real problem, you know?
Let's see.
I'm telling you, Finger of Death is a gateway spell, man. I'm telling you.
Radiant's top tower is under
One
attack.
minute you're just ulting some people, the next you're talking about play mail on an intelligence hero. It doesn't make any sense, man. It just doesn't make. All right,
So you know you're jumping into
big team fight.
5 heroes.
Very pivotal team fight for Roshan.
Bashar
Fine.
not
The
going to be able
jump.
to block anybody off. Quinn gets a really good roll in though. Can Dyrachyo get a kill off of this control? Actually bumps into the Tusk as he comes out of the snowball. Perfect opportunity. They do get something out of it.
Oh,
Now the toss back. No, toss straight up. But
The shackle.
jump in from Pure with a
What a
shackle
shackle.
from behind. Nightfall does manage to get that execution, but without the focus fire, can they handle Dyrachyo? Still just beating down heroes. Whoever shows up, the TP away is not good enough for Pure. Once
There is
again,
Nightfall.
the Supernova allows them to be able to push back BetBoom. Nightfall almost dying. Unfortunately,
Dyrachyo.
Swashbuckle was
On
in
the
the
other
wrong
side?
direction. Dyrachyo was
Team?
left alone. The entire team abandoned Dyrachyo on a second
Team?
life, chasing after this Wind Ranger. They do finally manage to get him.
Other team. Help your carries.
Well,
GPK's
that
just
one's not on
farming here?
BetBoom. You can't keep up with Wind
He's
Ranger.
just farming here. He has no BKB. Is this good?
We're about to find out. It seems like it's perfectly not okay. I can't
This is
tell.
really bad
Oh,
for
Miss
somebody.
Swashbuckle, that's no longer good, but at least he was able to blink away before GPK could get his ultimate
Ooh.
on him. Speaking of which, he does land it. Managed to roll up just in time, dodging some of that damage, but he's going to be, trying to get swashbuckled out of there. Looked like a kick there for a second. Another Rolling Thunder, but he doesn't have much health to be able to work with. The Chain Stun's working well. They just don't have the damage
this
to
is
kill
sad.
GPK. Quinn's got to find a way out of this one. He's going to start rolling on away, and he's going to be okay, but GPK is in a position to start threatening that Roshan if he wants.
Huh. Well, that was pretty good for GPK, I guess. Very weird fight. That got kited out very hard at the start, but then Toronto Tokyo got left behind. Nightfall with a crazy good shackle on the back and finds the Dazzle plus the Phoenix. Eliminates the save on Ace. Solo, basically. Which just salvages the entire situation. And then eventually that just leads to the egg getting kited out on the backside and you can re-engage on Dyrachyo, who gets left behind because he's just too slow to keep up. But damn, has this Wind Ranger been annoying. Just so hard to catch and lock him down. I feel bad for Quinn though, man. He did not get any lucky shots.
That's the first time I've ever heard you say
Yeah,
that.
well, that's probably the last time too, but
Radiant are
he
scanning.
was not getting a lot of lucky shots throughout that fight, so I feel a little bad for him, but what can you do?
Celery being pulled. Oh, the full-on drag. GPK actually gets pulled way out of position thanks to that dive. Supernova, though. Will it result in anything here? The only person up there is Pure. Meanwhile,
another
Nightfall
crazy
jumps in
good
the back.
shackle.
Once again, managed to get the lockdown
The
on
stuns.
Dazzle. The Eul Scepter, though, it's stopping some of the damage, but the
Whoa.
stuns continue to rain on in, and Pure is massive. Look at that horse, boy. He's huge. He's a goddamn Clydesdale. He's just manning up against Dyrachyo for now, trying to draw some attention away from GPK, who does manage to get the Inkswell. Dispel, straight fight. Oh, it's a close one, but he does manage to get the kill before he... No, he doesn't even die to the Tiny. Now it gets popped by Ace. Meanwhile, Quinn finally gets his man, hunts down the hero in this Roshan pit.
That's Toronto Tokyo with a gem. Quinn will reclaim it here. Actually, that's Toronto Tokyo's gem. That'll pop the buyback out of GPK, who just wants this Aegis, man. That's all he wants in life. Just leave me alone.
And they should be able to get it because there's no buyback from Dyrachyo on the Terror play.
Look at the damage numbers, man. 8,200 for Pure. He is starting to carry these engagements with this late game heart that came online out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It just feels a little bit untouchable unless they want to focus everything on him. And the BKB plus Trickster Cloak, a lot of defensive capability there.
I mean, he's going to be even more untouchable when he's got Shivas.
Yeah, that's a very big pickup for BetBoom. Pure starting to take these fights over because he's the Inkswell carrier too. Like that fight, he got a 2-man hoof stomp into like 3-man Inkswell proc. That is just nasty. But all that is off Nightfall once more, finding Ace with a full shackle on the backside. He's just getting on top of the Dazzle and setting everything up. If that doesn't happen, these fights are wildly different, right? So that's the most important piece of the puzzle that is still working for BetBoom, and it'll force 2 buybacks out of them, but they will get an Aegis Cheese for their trouble. And a Refresher Shard, as Pure's holding on to it for now. Big team fight win for them. They're happy to pay that buyback cost to get the objective momentum in this game, for sure.
Since they had the Aegis, they had to consume the Aghanim Scepter on the Huskar to make some space. Pure has the Refresher Shard in his inventory. If he gets the Shivas, he may actually have the mana to be able to hit a crazy stomp, Inkswell stun, stomp again.
We'll see if he slots it for the fight. I mean, there's also an argument you could give it to... You could even give it to Nightfall here if he wants to sub out his Blink.
That's what I would expect, just because then he could hunt down the Dazzle but still have the Focus Fire and Wind Runs against the Terrorblade.
I mean, backbacking it's useless, so... Whoever if he brings it out for the fight, great. If he wants to give it to Nightfall or Save, I think even Save could use it pretty well. Double Grimstroke spells here could be pretty nasty because you can go in with one of the links, then Quinn rolls in, then you have another link.
Sure.
Some of these things can be pretty damn obnoxious as tier 4 items are coming out.
Mindbreaker Wind Ranger.
That's a good one right there.
That's the best one.
That's why you play carry Wind Ranger. Ooh, that feels good. He's gonna make a hero disappear. He gets a shackle, you're gone. It has to be a grave, and if you're the Dazzle, well then, I mean, you already messed up, right? So that's why the gem is pretty important as well. They got the gem back, so they have full gem control now. That's pretty damn nice.
Gaimin Gladiators got the gem back, right?
They got Toronto Tokyo, so they have full gem control in this game.
Oh, okay.
I don't think BetBoom have capability to buy another one for a couple more minutes here. I like this like interlude music, you know. Pretty hype. Maybe we just keep it on the entire game. Just it should be a volume control when the more damage gets done in a team fight, the louder the dubstep gets.
You can only do that if it's Doom soundtrack. Here, using the Stampede and its BKB to get away. Gaimin Gladiators taking the chance to try and all-in the Centaur, but instead they find GPK, who is going to lose their Aegis. Now, a beautiful link there.
No fall.
Soulbind onto 2 cores. Pure coming back in, but he doesn't have the same kind of HP. Refreshes Stampede, but he can't get away in time.
Can't refresh the grave, son. It's just too damn late.
Toronto nice. Oh, even better. Toronto Tofu pushed himself over the shards to be able to still catch Toronto Tokyo and a Yule Scepter.
And
GPK in some trouble. Does have the invisibility here.
Gem on Quinn, though. But no Basher.
No Basher, so...
A very disjointed fight from BetBoom, though. Like, are you going in? Are you getting out? Are you kiting this role meta? Are you fighting the role meta with the link?
That was definitely one of the bad reads from BetBoom.
Yeah, that was all over the place.
They've been really, really good. In fact, I would say they're probably currently one of the teams that looks best at this in and out play style that they've got going.
When it's working,
but that was an example of it not working at all.
And that's a big loss. Another round of items coming in for Gaimin, and now they're the ones pushing your high ground. No meta on Dyrachyo, but they don't care. That was your Shiva's fighting for the Centaur as well. And your Aegis. You had Aegis at the start of that fight on GPK. So he could have just sat there and tanked it and you all go in behind him, right? That's why that disjoint was... It's kind of weird. Like, why wouldn't you want to take that fight with the Aegis? I mean, I felt like they were kiting the meta in the roll, but then the turnaround was not all together. Yeah. It has to be a single punch.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
So big win for Gaimin as they strike back, get some objectives on the board, and they're picking up utility, man. Full E-Blade done for Tofu here.
Radiant are scared.
Toronto Tofu, as you said.
Now you've got another save.
Yeah, exactly. It's a way to bail
Also,
out the
I didn't
Dazzle.
say Toronto Tofu. I said Toronto, comma, space, tofu,
With a
beginning
hyphen.
of a different
Yeah, with a
sentence.
hyphen, for sure. It is a big item pickup. This E-Blade is a guaranteed save for Ace if he gets shackled by Nightfall now, right?
Right.
There's no way Nightfall gets through this. So that's very big, and it will save him. It's a long enough duration to outweigh the shackle, and then Ace has a Yule's Trickster Cloak with his own grave. He's going to be Gucci. So this is a big deal. Like, the fact that Tiny's gotten this much farm out of the game. He has Spell Prism on top of everything here, so...
Radiant's top tower is under
Damn, you're
attack.
just looking at the cooldowns, man. This is
Is
where
there-
this hero becomes one of those broken heroes in Dota. Honestly, it's ridiculous.
Is there any validity to leveling up Maelstrom to Mjolnir? I mean, surely
Not
there's
too
got to be
much.
some value.
I mean, the
at
damage,
some point,
the damage increase on this hero isn't really worth it most of the time. And he went back for the refresher instead, so sacrifices the boots. We'll get 2 of everything, including Gale Force. So he can Gale Force them in opposite directions. That's a secret technique, by the way.
I don't want to hear more about your secret techniques.
I'm just saying, try it out, see what happens, you know?
Yeah, the Venn diagram of uselessness when they're getting pushed by both of them at the same time, resulting in nothing.
No, you Gale Force the front line forward and you Gale Force the back line back.
Yeah, and I'm saying
And
right
that's
in
like
the
a-
middle, there's a little overlap
That's
where it
right.
does absolutely nothing.
That's where the real party is. That looked like a unassembled Aeon Disc for Celery, but he hasn't flown it out yet. So that'll be a nice pickup for him. Again, it's just getting harder for these initiations to go well for BetBoom, right?
I feel like it would get easier. There's like one little timing where it gets easier, and I think that's Nullifier on Wind Ranger.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Tofu jumps
That's
into
going to be a ways
5.
away. You'll have to be able to dodge the jump there from GPK, and a big hit there from the Pango. Quinn
out.
trying to follow it up some more. He got the BKBs out of him. Honestly, that's good enough for that initiation.
I mean, they got Egg and Meta and Roll.
But there's nothing to really get here with that meta. There's no Roshan, so they kind of need to be able to find more, and they got it with the toss back there.
Another
GPK,
Yule's dodge, man.
he's got a lot of movement speed. Look at Pure. He's getting in a position here to be able to get a big stomp. Only gets it onto the... they
found Dazzle.
Okay, they do manage to get the Dazzle. Nightfall really quick with the refresh. A
Oh,
Thunder
the
save
Thunder.
from Durantio. Pops his BKB,
And he's
but
in
it's
trouble.
too much. He got himself killed. Saving Ace, but no Shallow Grave to be able to return the favor in time.
You should have thundered yourself, man. That was not worth it at all. He's going to have to buy back here. There's so many stacks on Pure right now. 6,600 HP. That is not a fight you want to go back into as Ace cliffs himself for the escape.
Radiant's
It's a
bottom
massive
tower
difference
is
when
under
Pure is threatened early, when he doesn't build up that strength, versus when
Yes.
he gets kind of like this free fight initiation and gets like 2 double edges.
100%.
Radiant's
And that was a much cleaner re-engage by BetBoom as they're still hunting for Durantio, trying to get a dieback out of him, but a little too far here. Another great shackle by Nightfall, man. He has just found them every fight.
Another one.
This is the dieback.
Is that the end of the game?
That might be it. I mean, sometimes Nightfall just got your number. Speed dial, man. He just punched it in. Looking to return the favor here as maybe that single core pickoff outside your base is just going to be the second game here. You will have respawns in 20 seconds to fight it, but it's going to be a 4v5.
Yeah, the fact that they were able to do some shenanigans with the lanes in that moment was pretty important. Top lane
This
got
shard,
delayed a
this
lot.
shard was also very annoying. The shard plus the link on 2. You stop the tiny mobility. I mean, this Thunder makes sense, right? Because if you get the Grave off on Durantio, then you can save both heroes in a sense.
Yep.
It just didn't. You much rather have the Terrorblade with full and a Sunder than a live Dazzle, right?
Yeah.
Dazzle's not carrying this fight. Just didn't work out.
Dire
Now you're going to lose some racks as punishment here. But they're not going drone.
They are not. Probably going to go for full-out Megas, and then we'll see what they do from there.
I'm surprised they're not going drone. I mean, you know he has no buyback. It was a minute ago.
I will say that it's tough. Oh, Toronto Tokyo gives them an opening here with the Aghanim Scepter, but they do have that upgraded Yules to be able to get some distance back into his base, and they Supernova's covering him as well. With the constant refreshes, man, it's pretty annoying. The stun is going to be able to land on GPK. He's a little bit low, and his BKB is wearing thin, but Quinn really deep in there, gets caught by a shackle. Now he's going to buy back. Once again, the Wind Waker being able to bail out Ace, but they don't really have the damage to stop BetBoom. They maybe are keeping their Dazzle alive, but they can't actually keep BetBoom.
I mean, buybacks and Glyph, Drawatio's up in 10. This is actually a hold.
This is enough. It's enough to be able to stave off Mega Creeps.
That was honestly, I thought they were going to lose the game, so that was a pretty good outcome. I mean, obviously it's incredibly costly, right? But there's a world where BetBoom just try and go drone there, and you might lose if that fight goes bad. So Gaimin salvage it. They get their Terrorblade back on the map. Costs them Quinn's buy, Tofu's buy. Those are big buybacks. I mean, that's a lot of your team fight control.
Yeah, and the game may just end anyway if Gaimin Gladiators decide they have to contest Roshan, which it does look like that's what they're going to be playing for. They lose this fight, they don't have buybacks on any of their heroes, and that's it anyway. I
mean, the big laking items for BetBoom have come out. Double Ags on the support. So you have Dark Portrait on save, you have the kick on Toronto Tokyo like we saw, and the Nullifier on Nightfall. So it feels like they have the tools now to deal with the utility and the saves as long as they can get on top of you, find the right targets.
Oh, they might be able to find GPK first. No, this is perfect. A toss back into the Rolling Thunder, chaining the Suns beautifully. And now he's so low, he's not going to be able to do anything. The perfect pick-off. A dieback on the carry with 2 minutes on the clock. They're going to fight this out 4 versus 5 anyway. See if they can go through. The double edge is pretty nice. The toss away onto Dazzle. Dazzle's low and he dies. Immediate buyback coming in. They need to be able to bail out Duracho. Here's caught in the soul blind. Constantly stunned up. Ace, yeah, the Dark Portrait is going to work here, but Ace, they can help deal with that one. They have the sustain to keep their fight going through. They have to get this Roshan, though, in this window of time.
Nightfall does not have enough to commit to this fight. He has to go to base, so it's all up to Pure, who finds them all on the hill, but is that the fight you wanted to go into there?
Yeah, they're stalling him from going through the portal to get to Roshan, but he'll die for it, and now he doesn't have buyback. Is this a change of plans for Gaimin Gladiators? They're going to look for more now. Save does manage to get out, jumping forward. Ace, he can catch him here.
Yeah, this is Tinker Dazzle.
He has this Blink Dagger. He's going to be able to catch up. The Wind Waker first, then follow it up with the Poison Touch. He does have the tag team into Blink.
Did you get the Blink?
No. Couldn't get the Blink away. Hit by the damage. Another pickoff. Another hero. This one
just crumbling.
Does have buyback, though.
I thought this was just GG for BetBoom. They went throwing somehow. Gaimin with no buyback on the Terrorblade and a dieback from him. It found some glimmers of hope in these team fights. Still down 15K after all of that. And of course, the Roshan switched sides, so now they have to walk all the way down there. Nightfall's still looking for some cheeky pickoffs.
Nice roll-up reaction there from Quinn.
I mean, Tofu is doing so much work in these fights. Like, even the toss back there on Ace just to stall that fight out, right? And Ace is the one hero who kind of had buyback and could get back there for Gaimin. So that was a big factor as well. Like, they did not get Ace's buyback out in that high ground push. It was the Pangolier that they got. These are all those little margins Gaimin playing pretty well around to try and come back in this game right now. And, hey, if they get this Roshan, this is an Ags Roshan. I mean, that's potentially a Terror Wave. What else? An Ags egg for a save, maybe? I don't know. I mean, you're probably giving it to Duracho here for sure. It's a lot of net worth.
It's a massive net worth difference. It's also enough time for them to reset their buybacks, very likely, right?
Yes, they could just wait, right? Something all that advantage that makes sense. I mean, it's definitely the most powerful here. We want the extra HP and stats. This game, I thought that fight was going to be a lot more convincing for BetBoom because of the 3 big items that came out in the Nullifier and the double Ag Scepters, right? Like that Dark Portrait killed Tofu, doing some decent work. This is a fully online Grim right now. And you can always start these fights with the kickbacks as well. Both teams have the displacement. So initiation counts for a lot, vision counts for a lot. Your vision on Gaimin is Terrorblade Illusions and him frontlining. Your vision on BetBoom is the Wind Ranger going in. But if you don't have the gem control, it makes Nightfall's life a little harder. Still, Nightfall was able to find some great shackles in those fights and find the Dazzle again. It's like, how many times is that going to happen, though?
Yeah.
One of these fights, you might not find that Dazzle.
Yeah, one of these times he might stumble into being caught first, right? Spotted by some sort of gem, chain the stuns, and then there goes not only your control, but a healthy amount of your damage.
I mean, you can only put on your Light of Heaven impersonation for so long.
That reference is too old for
That's not too
Dota
old.
players
I guarantee you
nowadays.
everybody watching knows who Light of Heaven is.
I guarantee you that is not the case.
Well, you know what? Fuck them then. I don't know. I mean, do your goddamn research.
Yeah. Dota 2 is a hardcore esport. If you want to be a fan of this game, you got to go back and watch 13 years of Dota 2 and another 5 years of Dota 1.
Damn straight. Glad someone will say it, what we were all thinking.
If you don't want to put in the work, then get the hell out of here. We don't want you.
I mean, if you don't know who was playing 10 years ago.
ESL is like, abort. Do not scare away the few Dota 2 viewers they're watching right now.
Some guy in the stream, I think I'll check this game out. What's going on in this MOBA?
If you're not willing to dedicate your entire life to this game.
I mean, there's some truth in that, though, right? Like, you don't go halfway into Dota 2. You either let it ruin your life.
Yeah, Dota 2 is not a gateway
or you
drug.
get a real job. It's the finisher. Dota 2 is not a gateway.
It's the final sweet release.
Yeah, it's a ventilator in a hospital. You just try and grind it out as long as you can.
Oh man, we're really good advocates for this esport.
Almost level 25 on the Phoenix.
Yeah, what is that game?
What does he want? He also has 4,500 gold.
Supernova hit. I mean, I feel like he hasn't actually been hit that much, so I'm not sure if this is going to change anything.
So the thing here is, he will take the hit count. I think it's just generally better.
Yeah.
You can go the Ags, and then you're super secure with the save, right? You can go a Shiva's here. Should be pretty nice.
I mean, I think
Or
that
you
it
can go
only makes a
Hex.
difference if he gets 2 Ags in the first place. But when was the last time his Supernova took a single point of damage?
Well, I'm saying if he can save, right? Like, the save could be pretty valuable.
If he
Now
gets
they're on the
this.
aggressive. Yeah, he has 4,500 gold.
Yeah, but he needs buyback. And he's going to lose this fight. Maybe. We'll see.
That's a good
Max. Pure using the Stampede to get back to his base. Gaimin Gladiators, they're kind of in a weird position here. A pickoff would have allowed them to push high ground more confidently.
I mean, they got to keep going, right? Getting the BKB is nice, but he does have Refresher on Centaur. 50 seconds for Stampede.
Whoa, Ace
Oh, that Gust?
being pulled out of position by the Gust. That was a dangerous moment there. Fortunately, the Wind Waker.
He punched the creep.
Yeah,
did not
he
get
punched
the
a
kick.
creep and didn't get a kick.
This is where you sell the Midas for an Aether Lens. I mean, you don't really need any more value out of it. Just make your life easier, you know? The courier from Save has done a daring mission, did not pay off.
It distracted him for a
I've
total of
scouted
1
the
hit.
enemy forces.
They're in front of our base.
And a jump.
Where was that Soulbot? What was that?
Yeah, that was... Well, your Soulbind's down. So our Gaming going to try and force this right now. I think Tofu's going to look for the jump. He just doesn't have the vision.
No,
Yes,
it's going to be
jump
him getting jumped instead with Toronto Tokyo pouncing first. An avalanche onto 3, but they have the nullifier to stop
Oh, he's
him.
in trouble.
Any Yule shenanigans are ruined. Meanwhile, taunted up, so he's going to be bounced off the wall and bounce back into them. Pops the cheese, but the damage is overwhelming. He needs the Child Grave, he needs another one. Ace is going to be able to keep him alive a little bit longer, but now Ace out of position. Now he's going to be locked down with the Terror Wave, trying to push the ball back. Ace still up, but Pure will put him down.
They did not get the Pango off. After all of those Graves, now Ace left in no man's land will have to Wind Waker his way away, but this fight has been abandoned by Gaimin as there's just not enough Graves in the tank to bail the Pangolier off that taunt ulti.
And they went for it, but now those buybacks that were coming off cooldown may immediately have to be spent, and some of them aren't even going to be there. The Dazzle doesn't have his for another minute.
And they know that because that is a timer-based CD here, so Tofu has his back up, but this is a 4v5. If BetBoom won it, they already got the Pango one just to try and get that cooldown back to where it was. But honestly, Quinn is not winning you the fights at this point, right?
No.
Like, Pango is not dealing near enough damage. He's just control for the other two to go to work. And that egg, the thing about that egg was it was really defensive because it was trying to bail out Quinn with another Sunray. But then he died anyway, and then no one was there from BetBoom. So that egg got wasted as well. That Roland just really backfired there.
Radiant are scanning.
You're looking at a Megas
Once
once
again,
more. Will
The
not go through him.
initiation going to be so important. Toronto Tokyo looks for it and gets it onto Duraccio. BKB immediately going to be put to use as he resets with the Sunder as well, but
Oh,
still
he got
caught by
taunted.
GPK with the taunt. They need the help, but the Tofu's holding onto his buyback. They're going to go for a toss-back play. That's their really only option now, but it's too late to get him in the fountain.
He does not have buy. He's 150 gold short, 120 gold short,
Somebody get out there on the map, find a bounty
50
room.
gold short. Taking up fast here.
But it may not be coming up in time
It's
because
up.
Quinn's already been jumped. The nullifier's put onto Tofu as well. They're both in trouble. A toss back onto Pure into the fountain,
He's
but
too
he is
big.
too tanky. The fountain's not going to be enough. Not a couple hits like that.
This man's got 10k HP. Can't even buy his item. He's too damn
Duracio's
big.
trying to jump in. Prier's just waiting his time. Come out of your fountain. Get stunned immediately for a billion seconds.
I just sit there for the memes. But Pure, he has more discipline than I do. He was looking to buy an Ags in their fountain and couldn't. He didn't have enough slots. He couldn't manage it. The man's too big. 10k HP. Even want to touch that? Still, this game continues. Triple buyback from Gaimin. They get 2 cores off the Terrorblade and the Dazzle, but the base has been held. That Ags will fly in for Pure. So now he has Workhorse, which is, I think, the better part of this, honestly. Right. 24 seconds,
You're talking
so like
about the
another mini haste, you know?
You're right, yeah.
I think that's like the nice part of this Ags for the Centaur is,
Why do they even separate the abilities?
I don't know. Does he want to cart anybody? I don't even
I
know.
mean, he can cart the Wind Ranger. You get bonus attack range
all right,
on it,
hear me out, hear me out.
Okay.
You cart the Huskar and he just hits the throne. And your Centaur, after he builds some stacks. And then they have to kill the 10k HP Centaur to get to GPK.
Why don't you do that with the Wind Ranger and he focus fires the throw?
Because that's too easy. You gotta do it the hard way. Send a message. It'll be the last fight for Gaimin. No Pangolier.
There's the toss back. This is what they gotta use with the blink back as well. They got Pure pretty far in,
that
but once again,
shackle!
he's too
Light
taken to
of
deal
heaven!
with that. A shackle from Nightfall is just beautiful. Fortunately, the heals are there. The problem is their base is in trouble.
Yeah, the
it's
throne.
no longer about keeping your heroes alive. It's about the throne that's happening, and the stuns just keep on raining in. The Soulbind, they actually have to toss away. Does manage to break some of that one, but it still managed to get the kill, and it's too much for Gaimin Gladiators. They can't handle the heat the BetBoom brought to this game, too. Off the back of the Huskar. They'll be able to do what